Chaos on the streets of Manila. Outrage at allegations of widespread corruption in flood control projects turned violent on Sunday. Masked protesters threw rocks and glass bottles at police and set a trailer truck on fire to break through the barrier. More confrontations happened near the presidential palace before police fired tear gas and a water cannon. It has been decades since demonstrations in the Philippines have escalated like this. It's also decades of pent-up anger, even for those taking part in more peaceful rallies in other areas of the city.
This is corruption on a scale we haven't seen. The figures being spoken about are unprecedented. I mean, we call it a trillion peso march only because we're talking about trillions of pesos here and going to individuals who are outwardly corrupt, not even trying to be subtle about it.
Photos of the lavish lifestyles of children of politicians and public work contractors have been circulating online. But protesters say the worst offender is the president.
This highway was where the so-called People Power Uprising ousted the father of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in 1986. And on this day, more than 50 years ago, Marcos Sr. declared martial law. Protesters here say they haven't forgotten about how former President Marcos stole billions of dollars of taxpayers' money, and now they feel history is repeating itself.
The president has formed an independent committee to investigate kickbacks that allegedly run into billions of dollars. His cousin, Congressman Martin Romualdez, resigned as Speaker of the House after being accused of diverting funding for education and health. But it hasn't appeased these protesters.
They took more than that when they left the country. Come on. This is just a joke. This is a stopgap thing.
We're here for a change in system. We are tired of the system of what we call bureaucrat capitalism, where the government is being run like a business.
And to this end, they're clear. They say both President Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte have failed to explain how they've spent so-called confidential funds, intelligence funds that are not subject to normal audits, and that these protests are purely out of love for the country, not to advocate for another political leadership. Barnaby, Al Jazeera, Manila.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.